Hello dear fashion designers, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, you're welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber or viewer, thank you so much for tuning in again. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to draft a perfect half-length bodice. Now if you're interested to know how to draft this perfectly, then make sure that you watch to the end. I'll be showing you how to reduce those bulges that you have at the back of your dress, and also how to add your darts. So if this is something that you're interested in, make sure that you watch to the end. So first, I'll start by drafting my starting line. I've gone ahead to draft the starting line, and then my half length for the front is 16 inches. Note, the length for the back is different from the length from the front. So that's the first rule you need to understand when drafting your half length bodice. Next, I'm going to go ahead to mark my nipple points. That's shoulder to nipple, 9 inches. I'll go ahead to draft that. So those are the 2 or 3 horizontal lines that are needed for now. I'll go ahead to mark my shoulder, which is 7.5 inches, 3.5 inches for my neckline. For my neck depth for the front, I'll go down by 3 inches. So I'll just use my curve ruler to connect it together like this. You can go in to make any shape of neckline, but I will be using this for this tutorial. So for my shoulder, I'm going to go down by 0.75 inches. You can go down by 1 inches or half inches if you want, and then I'll connect it to the neckline just like this with my straight ruler. So from there, I'll mark my chest line. Now to get your chest line, you'll divide your bust by 6 and then you add 1.5 inches. I've done that and I have 7.5 inches, so I will just connect it like this. Next, I'll connect it to my shoulder line, my chest line to the shoulder line just like this. So for my armhole curve, I'll divide what I have here by 2. I'll mark it just like this. Then I'll go down by half an inch, okay, to form my armhole curve so that it can sit well. And then there I'll go in by half inches. All right, this is going to make you to have a very good armhole curve, especially when you're making a pencil skirt with crepe or whatever fabric. All right, so next, to continue that, I'm going to go in and mark my bust measurements. Then I'll connect it to the armhole that I have drafted just like this. All right, so that way you have the perfect armhole curve for your dress. So I'll just go ahead to label it. That's my chest line, and here we have our nipple points, and down here we are going to have our waistline. So to create our dart, I'm going to go in and mark my nipple to nipple, which is 7.5 inches. I'll divide that by 2 and mark that on the nipple point and also on the waistline. After that is done, I'm going to use my ruler to connect it together like this. Now I'll go down by 1 inches from that nipple point, and then on the waistline I'm going to mark half inches on both sides, and then I'll connect it to the 1 inches which I've gone down just like this. All right, and I'll connect it like this. This way we have created our dart. So next, I'm going to take my waist measurement, 7.5 inches plus 1 inch that we have taken out for the darts, and then I'll cut it down together. Please note that while drafting this, I didn't add any sewing allowance. So while you are placing it on your fabric, make sure that you add sewing allowance. Now for the main thing, the side dart. Most times we don't take the side dart, but it's very, very important if you want to have the perfect half length bodice. All right, so on our nipple point here, I'm going to go down by 1.5 inches, depending on the difference between your back and the front. Okay, so there's no really one rule about it. Some people will say 1.5, 2 inches, but most times it's between 1 to 2 inches depending on the size. All right, but for me, I'm making use of 1.5 inches. That's the difference between my back and then the front. Let me say this here: to get your perfect half length, you can just put your tape rule on your waistline, that's a little bit above your abdomen, and then you take your measurement from your shoulder to that tape rule line. Then you do the same thing again at the back from your shoulder to the tape rule line. Let me come again. You have 2 tape rule. Place one on your waist area, that's a little bit above your abdomen. All right, and then you take your measurement from the shoulder to the tape rule line. You do the same thing at the back as well. That way you get your perfect half length. So that's it on how to draft the front bodice. of an half length. So for the dart, you can just fold it in, use your sellotape to hold your pattern paper down, and then you place it on your fabric. All right, so that's it for that. Next, we'll go ahead to draft the back bodice. I'm gonna head to draw the starting line here, and then I'll mark my shoulder 7.5 inches, then my neckline width, which is 3.5 inches. For my depth here, I'm going to make use of 1 inches. So I'll just use my ruler to curve it like this, or to connect it like this. You can use whatever neckline of your choice, but we'll be making use of a round neck for this. Now on my shoulder, I went down by 0.75 inches, and I'll connect it together just like this, the same way we did at the front. Now for the length, I'll be marking 14.5 inches for my length, and then I'll use my straight ruler to connect it. Now for my chest line, I'm going to go down by 7.5 inches, okay, and I'll connect it like this, and then I'll create another horizontal line just like this. So I'll go ahead to label is our chest line so that we can identify what it is. Now on the chest line, just like we did for the front, I'll divide what I have there by 2, and then I'm going to go out by 1/2 inch, not like what we did for the front. Please take note, okay? So after that is done, I'll go ahead to take my bust measurement so as to complete my armhole curve, and I'll take that's 9.5 inches. I'll use my curve ruler to connect it together like this. Next, on my waistline, I'm going to mark my nipple to nipple 3.75 inches. I'll connect it together like this, and then I'll go down by 1 inches just like we did at the front also for the dart. I'll just clean that line so that we know where we are starting. Then I'll mark 1/2 inches on this side, left and the right, making 1 inches in total. So I'll just connect it together just like this. So next, I'm going to take my waist measurement. I'll mark my waist measurement 7.5 inches, and I'll mark 1 inches for the dart, and then that is it for our back bodice. So I'll just go ahead to cut it, and then I will show you. Now, one important thing which I did not record, I didn't know that my camera was not recording as at then. On the M line of your waist, you are going to reduce 1/2 inches, okay, where the zip allowance is going to be, reduce 1/2 inches at the length there, and then use your ruler to curve to go straight down. This is going to reduce bulging at your gown length, okay. To make it to be flat and fitted, make sure that you reduce 1/2 inches. And if you want to add in the skirt part, do the same thing on the waist area, okay, and you will see the magic that will come out of it. So this is how to draft a perfect bodice, and here is our front and back pattern. So that is it for this. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye for now.